I'm not gonna lie. I like to play a good eroge. You know, I like a
as
little
anyone
slice.
does.
Yeah, exactly.
We all know this
Anybody
man
of
lived
culture.
off them when he was 13.
Yeah.
And then just played a little Euphoria and.
Just play a little bit.
See, because like I'm into erogames, but I never had the balls to try before.
Okay.
No, Euphoria was so. I was like, oh, Euphoria.
Can I tell the story? Okay, actually,
Put the
yeah.
mic
Let's
close to your
put them like
face.
in your
It's triggering me.
face.
I'm like, it's not in your mouth.
The voice actor
Like,
doesn't
this
know.
is
Put the
So
microphone in the
okay,
face.
how did you first find out about Euphoria?
I heard somebody talk about it, but I didn't really like. They didn't say anything bad about it. They just said, "Oh, it's like kind of like a death game." And I really like horror. I like death games.
I have no idea what this is, by the way. I just know there's a lot of poop.
Oh, okay. We'll get into that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
man.
So one day, Sydney's just like messing about on her computer, and she just casually asked me, "Hey, Gon, have you heard of this anime hentai called Euphoria?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about playing it." I'm like, "Oh, okay. That's a pretty infamous game." And she keeps asking me why. Why is it infamous? What's so infamous about this game?
It sounds like the same energy as your mum coming in, like, God, what is Bang Bros? What is that?
Why do I have a subscription to Pornhub in my mail? Like,
yeah.
What is X Hamster Gone?
Yeah.
Can you explain?
do you like hamsters that much?
And so I just go, you know what, Sydney? Why not just download it and play it? And
Why would you say that?
And see what happens,
It
because
was already downloaded.
And you
like,
love this woman?
no, it's resulted in probably one of my favorite Twitter threads online, because I told her to document her experience with it, and so she has this Twitter thread of her fresh experience with Euphoria, which we can probably pull up.
Because I was so certain that you were overreacting, if I'm honest. Like, I was so certain. Like, I've seen my fair share of eroge. I know. I've played Bible Black, okay? And, like, I'm like, oh, is somebody just gonna, like, accidentally puke or something? And everyone's just like, this is disgusting.
Oh, the moment I saw that Twitter thread being started, I was like, oh, that's good.
I was so good. I was like,
so good.
It was one of the few Twitter threads where you can literally grab the popcorn and just scroll down, because
there has never been a more well documented like journey of someone losing their mind. Like,
because I think it was never the same after you played Euphoria and you released that Euphoria video. I think that was like your first really dive into full degeneracy.
Yeah, of course I played like eroge. Like sometimes like some weird.
Do you want
things
to explain what Euphoria is to someone like Connor and people who
I
don't
have
know?
no idea what Euphoria is.
Okay.
I just know there's poop and eating it.
Oh, I wish it was just that.
yeah, I wish we could say that's the worst.
Can we do a
part.
YouTube-friendly version so we don't get completely
Yeah.
destroyed?
Okay, so burp. Oh, that was pukey. But
Which also appears in Euphoria.
I think essentially everything gross that you can even think of on the top of your head in the next 3 seconds, it's in Euphoria. So Euphoria is a kind of game where
Sorry, carry on.
So Euphoria is a game where this one guy who suddenly starts to realize he's a sadistic motherfucker who enjoys like girls' pains is stuck in a room with 7 other girls,
Okay.
and they give him like acts that he has to do, otherwise somebody dies and gets killed.
Basically like Saw.
Yeah, essentially, but like eating shit.
Okay.
And so like they have essentially every weird tag they have like diaper wearing and shitting, and you have to eat the shit out of the diaper. They have like
This is a furry convention? Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Taking Euping to another level.
My God, dude. This sounds too much for YouTube, but I think I get the picture of how
they just
disgusting
have
this
a lot here,
And so that defined your YouTube career?
unfortunately.
So you watched that or you experienced it, you're like, this is it. This is my
This is
magnum
the
opus.
This is my peak.
This is what we're going to follow.
To be fair, like I made a video because I'm like, I thought nobody else knew that Euphoria was this bad. I thought they thought that what I did. I thought everybody else thought it was like a death game, and I'm like, I'm warning you guys. And too little did I know, I'm the fucking dumb fuck over here. So
Well, I mean, someone had to experience it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just taking the L for everybody. That's
But, like,
my career.
one thing I'm sure a lot of people have been curious about is obviously like you're a female who's like very into hentai.
Am I?
But like, how did you get into hentai originally? Like, what opens the gate for you, and what made it appealing to you to like?
Because the general consensus is females don't read hentai.
Yeah, exactly, right.
That's
They don't watch
bullshit. That's bullshit. But I guess like it's just, I'll have to start from the beginning then.
Yep.
It's just more of like, in case you guys didn't know, I was born and raised in a small village in Wisconsin near Milwaukee, and wouldn't you think it, they're pretty conservative. So I didn't have a sex education, and I got all of my sex education from hentai.
This is going like the good Christian girl route now.
Yeah. Like I had no idea that like jizz was like looked like anything. Like I didn't know like stuff came out until I was about like 17. I was 17 when I learned that jizz existed.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't even know what like
That's
a penis
fucked that
looked
they don't
like.
teach you that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Our sex education was more of like stay abstinent.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
yeah, I've seen a bunch of those where it's like you
Yeah.
can either teach sex education or tell them to not fuck and not do any of
Yeah.
that.
Essentially,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was we had a sex ed, but it wasn't sex ed. It was more of like, but so I actually learned. I didn't know that hentai really existed until I. It was actually very similar to Garn's story, where I like found a random link to Bible Black. And I downloaded it, and then I saw just like a girl like growing a dick, and I'm like, can girls do that?
You wouldn't know. You weren't sex educated.
no idea.
How would you know?
Google search, how do I grow a penis?
Like guys can jizz, can girls grow dicks? Is that just a thing that my parents have just not taught me?
Essentially. But so I think from there, just my interest grew because I was just like, well, this is the only sex
Like your
education
penis.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like your
get.
penis.
Yeah.
It's like my giant dick. So then I just kind of dived in, and actually some of it had good stories, and it wasn't just fucking. And then just life changed from there.
So what is like some early hentai that you actually like properly enjoyed? Because as like a teenager, I'm sure most guys, we had one purpose of why we like got into hentai. We didn't really care about the plot that much.
I
but-
still don't care about the plot.
Yeah, he still doesn't. But someone from your perspective, I feel would have something different.
Well, definitely when I first started like watching hentai and eroge, was just to get like, just kind of like what is this warm feeling in my pants? But then, I started like my first real eroge that I liked was Yume Miru Kusuri. And it was just like about depression and just like, and this guy's just having sex with these depressed girls, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm having feels while my pants are warm.
Oh my god. This is not going to
I'm
be
sorry.
monetized. No way.
We're sorry, YouTube.
I'm sorry, I hope
We have
neither-
sponsors on this episode.
I hope neither of our parents watch it.
Oh my god.
But
There's like a million other ways you could have phrased that. You didn't have to say warm feeling in my pants. It's like that's like the worst way you could have put it. Oh my god.
cold Hulk. But, so yeah, essentially Yume Miru Kusuri was the first one, and then obviously Katawa Shoujo. I was like
Ones with good stories.
good with
Yeah.
stories, and then I kind of started going for like the generally like, hey, this isn't just sex. This has a good plot. Kind of like one of those porns like you see. And it's like somehow one of those lines just sticks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen an actual porno. I'm like, damn, this story's good.
The only like quotable porns
that's
are like the
amazing,
really
yeah.
like horrible ones.
Yeah.
You didn't get my cereal?
I think she wants me to suck my dick.
Wait, I gotta ask Connor, have you ever watched like a hentai and just watched the entire runtime? No skipping.
No.
No skipping, just watch an entire
Sometimes.
episode without skipping or hitting that
Sometimes,
buffer
I'll
button.
look at the watch and I'll be like, I got 10 minutes. I can watch the intro. I got time. I can watch the intro. And then I'm normally just disappointed and like, I wish I just didn't know your personality. And like the characters normally I like regret that I learned.
Well, that
more
just means
about
you haven't
them.
seen the good ones yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen some good ones.
Like,
I mean, I
What-
don't
what
want
is
to
like- what is- what is like the-
out myself, right? Yeah, we're
what is like
gonna
the peak of like?
we got to save it for the hentai episode.
Oh, yeah, true,
I
true,
don't
true.
want to, because we want to do that.
Yeah,
You want to do like a hentai
But
tier
we
list, kind of-
judge each other's favorite hentai, so I'm going to save it. Got to keep some aces in there.
Well, then while Sydney's here, then what is yours? Like, what would you say is like the absolute peak of like, yes, this is the best one I've seen?
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't watch a lot of like animated hentai because once you've seen one, honestly, you kind of seen them all. Like it all looks the same.
they're all based
terribly.
off the dojins, though.
Yeah.
No, but not.
Well, a lot of them are based off eroges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even if they were based off the dojins, it was like like hentai manga. It was just like kind of like it doesn't keep the good shit. It's not as beautiful.
It doesn't keep the plot.
It doesn't keep the plot, and even the sex scenes that they copy that are like hot in the dojins aren't hot in anime form.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, especially some doujins, especially if they're animated by Queen Bee.
Oh my God.
We do not talk about Queen Bee.
I don't know how Queen Bee can take some of the like best doujins, like S-tier doujins, and make it seem like worsely animated than the fucking manga itself.
There have been so many where like I'm into the idea of the story, I'm watching the cutscenes, and then I forget I'm still watching Queen Bee, and then the two PNGs start rubbing against each other, and I'm like, oh.
Some Queen Bee stuff I've seen is like they must have animated this on like PowerPoint. There's no animation.
Because the worst thing about Queen Bee is that they're like the posters. They look
it's a hentai
so
studio,
good.
by the way.
Queen Bee is a hentai studio, quite infamous if you watch enough hentai for just having the worst animation you can imagine for a hentai.
If you've watched the hentai and you thought, wow, this looks awfully shit, it's probably Queen Bee. It's probably Queen Bee.
We're not gonna get that sponsor from Queen Bee.
I don't want to be sponsored by Queen Bee.
That's a badge of disrespect.
I think Queen Bee was one of the first studios that forced me to like research hentai studios, right? Because normally, like hentai animation
All look
isn't
the same.
Hentai animation isn't the greatest,
Yeah.
but it's passable. But Queen Bee was so bad that it forced me to have to Google search why does these certain hentais look this bad? Oh, okay, it's because
Mom.
it's because the same studios are animating it.